Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. And now the details. President Muhammadu Buhari has left Abuja for Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, ahead of the 33rd Ordinary Session of Heads of States and Government of African Union. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president was seen off at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by his Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, Minister of State for FCT, Ramatu Tijani, Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, and other senior government officials. President Buhari, accompanied by the governors of Imo and Rivers State, will join other African leaders at the summit beginning on Sunday with the theme, Silencing the Gun, Creating Conducive Conditions for African Development. The president will, before the summit, attend the 29th Forum of Heads of State of Government of participating states of the African Peer Review Mechanism, as well as the 27th session of New Partnership for Africa's Development Heads of State and Government Orientation Committee. On the margins of the summit, the president will deliver a keynote address at a high-level side event on Stop the War on Children, Dividends of Silencing the Guns, co-sponsored by the government of Nigeria, Uganda, Norway, as well as Save the Children International. President Buhari and the Nigerian delegate will also participate in other high-level side events in furtherance of Nigeria's national, regional, and international goals, priorities, and aspirations, especially peace and security, countering terrorism and violent extremism, economic development, asset recovery, and fight against corruption. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, says the National Assembly has started consultations with the executive arm of government on a new version of the Petroleum Industrial Bill to be introduced in the 9th National Assembly. Senator Lawan made the disclosure during a meeting with representatives of the International Monetary Fund who visited him. The President of the Senate explained that the 9th Assembly, in its determination to see to the eventual passage of the Petroleum Industrial Bill, which defied passage into law since 2007, devised a strategy which deploys constant interaction and collaboration with the executive. He observed that the interface between the two arms of government would birth a new PIB to be drafted from scratch and which will be passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the President before the end of the year. No nation with a mono economy is likely to generate enough resources to bring about the desired development to its people. This informs a memorandum of understanding between the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies and the Nigeria-Vietnam Chamber of Commerce towards diversifying Nigeria's economy. The aim is for NILDS to enhance the capacity of Nigerian legislators to make favorable trade legislations that will ameliorate the challenges faced by the people. Director General of NILDS, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, signed on behalf of the Institute, while the President of the Nigeria-Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Oye Akinsemoyin, signed for his organization.
It will be a good thing for our country, Nigeria. We cannot continue to rely on oil as the mainstay of our economy, thinking that we can sustain development for years to come. And that is why something as trade relation are very key to national development.
The visit is also to invite NILDS to participate in a summit in Vietnam, which is expected to generate useful information to be passed to the National Assembly in the form of bills or motions for the advancement of trade policies in Nigeria. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal filed by the former governor of Taraba State, Jolly Nyame, challenging his conviction by the trial and the appellate courts for misappropriation of funds. The verdict of the 5-man panel of justices delivered by Justice Amina Adamu Auge held that the appeal lacked in merit. Olabode Arewa reports.
Supreme Court said that the trial and appellate courts were right in the conviction and sentencing of former governor of Taraba State, Jolly Nyame, for embezzling 1.6 billion naira and receiving of gratification. In the light of this, the Apex Court upheld the 12-year jail sentence of the appellants. The Apex Court, however, set aside the 100 million naira fine imposed on Nyame by the appeal courts.
The lordships have ruled, and this is the final court of the land. We take it. There's nothing we can do.
That is enough to serve as a deterrent to all other people who probably may want to also think of committing similar offenses, to know that there will always be consequences.
Jolly Nyame was convicted on 27 counts charge, while 13 counts against him were dismissed by the appellate courts. Jolly Nyame, who was the Taraba State governor between 1999 and 2007, was convicted by an FCTI court on the 30th of May 2018. The conviction of the trial court was upheld by the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on November 16, 2018. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
And now to security. The Nigerian Air Force under Operation Rattlesnake 3 has intensified airstrikes against terrorist targets in Borno State and has eliminated some Islamic State of West Africa province terrorists and destroyed compounds housing them at Kaza in the northern part of Borno State. In a statement by NAF Director of Public Relations and Information Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, the airstrike was executed on 5th February 2020 following credible intelligence reports indicating that some ISWAP elements who relocated from nearby Tongule had set up camp in a cluster of compounds at Kaza along with their logistics supplies. The identified location within the settlement was attacked by the ATF's fighter jets after confirmatory intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions showed significant presence of terrorists. This resulted in the destruction of the structures and the neutralization of some of the ISWAP fighters. The NAF says it will sustain its air campaign in synergy with surface troops to shape the battle space in the northeast. The Department of State Services, DSS, says its attention has been drawn to the reports circulating on the social media on the movements and attacks on luxury buses, the movement of terrorists into FCT and other parts of southern and middle belt regions of Nigeria, and hijack of luxury buses of 3 major transport companies on the Lokoja-Okene are also false alerts. According to Department of State Services, DSS, the alert purportedly issued by the service on the arrival of Boko Haram and other terrorist elements to the aforementioned places has been in circulation since 2013, when it was first created by mischief makers whose handiwork is to cause chaos. It's now time for us to join Lagos for more on Nationwide.
Hello, Lydia. Thank you and welcome to Lagos. Relief has started coming the way for commuters in Lagos as the state government rolls out shuttle buses to cushion the effects of the ban on operations of motorcycles and tricycles on selected routes in the state. Jessica Moses reports.
That an organized transport system is yearning of every Lagosian was confirmed as passengers waited patiently at Leventis bus stop, CMS, for the new buses. Even those who lost patience and boarded the popular yellow bus quickly disembarked at the sight of the new vehicles, which they described as more comfortable.
It should pump more since there is no Okada and a pep.
Very beautiful, very comfortable. Bring in more of them. The air conditioner, at least for the weather, yeah, beautiful. And then the charging ports. I've been enjoying it.
They, however, called on the state government to expedite action on plans to introduce smaller vehicles on the inner city roads in the 6 local governments and 9 local council development areas affected by the enforcement of total ban on commercial motorcycles and tricycles. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Motosho, said the decision to enforce the ban was taken in the interest of the masses.
The ban on Okada, painful as it is to our people, is a necessary decision that the government had to take because of security, because of rate of accident that was very high. Eggs were being smashed, limbs were being broken every day. There was bloodletting. And besides, the law has been there for a very long time. But these guys didn't want to obey the law.
It will be recalled that the state government began full enforcement of the 2018 traffic law on the 1st of February. The governor of Abuja, Sanwo-Olu, had ordered the deployment of 65 new buses on some of the affected routes to cushion the effects. In Lagos, Jesuton Moses, NTA News.
Since Nigeria signed the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement in July last year, the need for engagement of stakeholders and the general public on the provisions, benefits, and impact on the socio-economic and advancement of the country has become imperative. This was the focus at the 17th annual lecture of the Center for Values and Leadership held in Lagos. Tunde Saiki has more.
July 7, 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari at the extraordinary summit of the African Union in Niamey, Niger Republic, signed the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, making Nigeria the 53rd African nation to sign the agreement. In spite of the new development, most Nigerians, including stakeholders, are yet to fully understand what the agreement is all about, especially its implementation outcome. This forum, therefore, exposed some of these concerns and the way out.
The youth need to be involved, they need to be educated about what is going on, they need to be made aware of the opportunities and what they need to do to fully benefit.
And the important thing is for Africa to trade among themselves, and then for us to get the benefit, we have to be very productive.
Discussants at the panel session took turn to also seek more clarifications of what both the government, investors and the general public should do to make the agreement work. It is believed that if the agreement is well implemented, it can make the country to be competitive in the global markets.
Private sector is becoming increasingly sensitized to the fact that they cannot achieve their profit goals if some of those MDGs are really not met. So it's mutually reinforcing, and that awareness will lead to impact investing.
The Center for Values and Leadership Annual Lecture and International Leadership Symposium started in 2004 and has served as a platform for intellectual discourse on national issues. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja after this break. Don't go away.
This year, the weather conditions Harmattan in Nigeria is harsh, with temperature dropping very low in some parts of the country. Many underprivileged children are exposed to these harsh weather conditions, putting them at risk to all sorts of respiratory infections with devastating consequences. We request well-meaning Nigerians to kindly donate warm clothing, blankets, beverages, soap, moisturizers, and other essential items for the benefit of these children. Get involved to support displaced and underprivileged children exposed to these harsh weather conditions. Powered by Aisha Buhari Foundation.
Sunday morning, 11th of March, was a regular day. I wake up, go to work, then I got to the toll, and the XUV was coming back from the club, and it hit the passenger's bus, which I was inside, the commercial bus.
When I got there, I saw his state. It wasn't hopeful.
I also wish he's fine. I wish he gets back to what he used to be.
Sports coverage and reporting require special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College JOS invites sports reporters, administrators, commentators in the private and public sector to a special 2-week capacity building course on sports coverage and reporting skills in broadcasting. The course will equip participants with contemporary reporting skills for local and international sports and also expose participants to modern trends in sports commentaries, scripting, shooting, directing, and much more. Take advantage of the course to develop your skills and capacities in sports coverage and reporting. Date 17th to 28th February 2020. Course fee 80,000 naira only, accommodation inclusive. Running concurrently is a special 4-week intensive course on record management and registry functions. Participants will be tutored on modern techniques of record keeping and registry management. Date 17th February to 13th March 2020. Course fee 100,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue of both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Coming soon in March 2020 in the capital city Abuja, the Ivory 8 Ball, a life-saving fundraising event featuring music and arts in aid of skin cancer patients with albinism. For participation and sponsorship, please call Edidion, Chinwe. This event is supported by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA TV Enterprises, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and the Albino Foundation. The Ivory 8 Ball for a worthy cause. Watch out.
Welcome back and thanks for staying. A 2-day procurement retreat for federal permanent secretaries, accountant generals, and auditor generals has begun in Kano. The retreat is the 10th in its series. We now join live Yahanasu Hassan Barau live in Kano. Hello Yahanasu, if you can hear me, what were the key issues raised so far at the meeting?
Thank you, Studio. The key issues at the meeting was to ensure that there is harmony between ministers and their permanent secretaries, because it is only through that developmental project can be able to be actualized. And there was also the fact that they should ensure that they are the people that ensure the fact that they are those that keep the accounting of their various ministries, departments and agencies. They should follow the Public Procurement Act so under Section 20, subsection 1 of the Public Procurement Act, and the SGF, that is the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, dwelled more on the transformational value of present administration. That is to do with ensuring they maintain global standard in executing projects and ensure that developmental projects are not abandoned. And there was also the issue of public procurement that was dwelled more by the public procurement, that permanent secretaries.
Okay, now, Yahanas, if you can still hear me, has there been any policy statement?
Yes, actually there was a policy statement by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation that where he says there should be complying with the Transformation Act, that is the transformation of the present administration. They should ensure they keep to
All right, yeah, Nasu, thank you so much for that update on the two-day procurement retreat for federal permanent secretaries holding now in Kano. Meanwhile, a media tour of the Northeast Theatre of Operations is on the way now. So right now we're going to join our defense correspondent Ismail Musa to tell us the objective of the tour. Hello, Ismail. Are you there? Tell us what the situation is right now on the field. Okay, we'll get back to Ismail as soon as we get our signals clear and steady. But meanwhile, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, says Nigeria is losing about $10 billion of tax through illicit profit shifting by multinational corporations operating in the country, which otherwise would have been applied to critical infrastructural development by the three tiers of government. Executive Chairman of FIRS, Muhammad Nami, disclosed this at the commencement of the 2020 Management Retreat of the service in Abuja. Kenneth Nani monitored the event and now reports.
Africa Union Illicit Financial Flow Report indicates that Africa is losing $50 billion through illicit profit shifting by multinational corporations, and about $10 billion of this amount is from Nigeria alone. And the service is on the move to block these leakages.
We have agreed with my team that in the next 4 years, we will improve our performance on a long-term and sustainable basis. We have given ourselves a minimum target of $5 million staff to revenue ratio and 10% tax to GDP ratio.
In a message, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, urged the FIRS to leverage on the provisions of the finance bill signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019 to enhance financial propriety for national development.
The first step the federal government has taken is to conserve revenue that has come in by introducing measures that will cut costs in governance. The next is to rev up our campaign to generate more revenue by expanding the base.
We must appreciate the fact that taxation is virtually the most sustainable source of revenue for the government.
Development partners in the financial sector pledged continued support to the FIRS to achieve its mandate, relying on the reforms in Nigeria's tax system to meet global best practices.
We are confident at ICANN that the future of the country's tax system is bright.
The entire exercise of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, if the government does not have the fiscal resources to invest in Nigerians and invest in infrastructure, that dream won't be realized.
I urge the service to create an environment that would foster closer collaboration with relevant stakeholders in the Nigerian tax system.
With the level of reforms in Nigerian tax system, there is the need for stakeholders to have goal congruence. This opportunity is therefore a welcome development.
The retreat is also giving attention to specific targets for the service in the next 100 days in office for the new chairman. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
We'll now go back to the media tour of the Northeast Theatre of Operations, and we're going to join our defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who is live in Maiduguri. Ismail, if you can hear me loud and clear, what's the situation in the field right now?
Thank you, Lydia. It's a bright and busy day here in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. And currently I'm at the Military Command and Control Center of the decade-long counter-insurgency operation. I happen to be among selected journalists that have been on a 3-day media tour in parts of Maiduguri, parts of Borno and Adamawa State. The tour so far took us to Bama, Kondega, Pulka, Goza, Lambawa, and Madagali.
Thank you, Ismail, for that update. The Federal Inland Revenue Service is set to leverage on NTA's reach to effectively provide enlightenment for Nigerians to appreciate payment of tax for nation building. Already, the machinery is in motion with the visit of FIRS Management Board to NTA management led by the chairman, Mohammed Nami. Benny Adams was there.
From assumption of office a couple of months ago, the nation's chief revenue collector, Mohammed Nami, has been on his feet, meeting all that matter in the quest to increase the revenue figures of the country, coming from dwindling fortunes being recorded lately. NTA is the latest point of call for the new FIRS management, and the mission is to advocate stronger collaboration for enlightenment of Nigerians to be faithful to their obligation of tax payment. The Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, reminded FIRS of the challenge ahead, but was quick to add that, despite NTA being partially commercialized, NTA remains alive to its social responsibility to Nigerians and will do whatever it takes to help grow the economy.
Our reach is second to none, in Nigeria. So we'll work assiduously with you, as members of the same family, that is the federal government family, to ensure that your tenure, becomes a very resoundingly successful one.
The board used the visit to also discuss the ongoing Africa Tax Administration Forum, where a new strategy for taxing the informal sector is in the offing.
People that are not in the tax net are actually brought to tax net using technology, employing kind of intelligence and collaboration with entities like NTA.
Some of the things that we're looking to do as a board is also ensuring that we have different tactics for different sectors.
The informal sector in Africa is set to account for up to 90% of GDP in some countries. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Next report from Enugu says the federal government is committed to delivering on its promise of ensuring that the ongoing rehabilitation work and upgrade of facilities at the Akanu Ibiam International Airport is completed before April this year. Amechi Pius, who has been monitoring the level of work at the airport, reports that from the tempo of work being done by the contractor, the April target is sacrosanct.
NTA News investigations reveal that most of the navigational facilities like the Category 2 instrument landing system and distance measurement equipment have been installed to replace the old ones.
They continue with the rate of work and the quality of work. We have no problem. Their funds are there.
The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, visited the Enugu International Airport via the Enugu-Owerri Road.
From Bauku and Lobanta into Ituku, bad road. But the good news is that that section has also been awarded.
Rehabilitation of the runway of the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, is a comprehensive exercise aimed at repositioning the airport, described as the gateway to the southeast of the country. Contractors handling the rehabilitation of the Akanu Ibiam International Airport assured the minister that the facility will be open to the public on the 31st of March 2020. In Enugu, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
More on rehabilitation. Some portions of Kano Zaria Section 3 carriageway rehabilitation have been opened to erase the hardship being faced by motorists. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that this is coming on the heels of complaints on the frequent fatal accidents recorded on the road.
A benefit of mankind. Yeah.
This is one among other portions of Kano-bound carriageway completed for use at Kwanar after partial handing over between contracting firm and the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. The idea is to divert traffic and allow free flow of vehicles to their respective destinations.
We are expecting more and more from them to continue with the job. The job is very better. We really appreciate with it.
Thank God for the government. They are trying a lot. They should continue trying like this. Nigeria will be better.
On Kano Meduguri Section 1 dualization project, which has reached 61% completion with interchange bridges, The team urged the contracting firm to do the needful so as to ease road users.
We really appreciate what the government is doing. Actually, the past 2 years, I would say, this is going to be the third phase of Skook. And with Skook, the project is well funded. And for that reason, we have no reasons to delay the project because the funds are available.
They will be on their neck to do so because government must get value for money. They have to work for the money that we are paying them.
Meanwhile, the construction of 26.6 km Kano Western Bypass, which a route 73 km Katsina Gidamutundea project, is receiving attention. The federal projects, when completed, will serve as trans-Saharan route and boost the nation's economy. Muhammad Rabi Ali, NTA News.
Ibadan is our next port of call, and Kemi is our guide. Kemi, over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. Welcome to Ibadan. Following the ban of motorcycles and tricycles in Lagos State and the immediate exodus of these operators into neighboring states, the Oyo State government has assured residents of optimum control of the activities of commercial motorcyclists in the state. Grace Bamdele takes it from here.
Motorcycles, popularly known as Okada, has risen to close the gap of transportation in Nigeria as it is fast, flexible and rugged. But on the 1st of this month, in neighboring Lagos State, motorcycles were banned. The question now is, what is the implication of this on the activities and the populace in Oyo State?
This job is not easy, but people are just trying to do some things so they will cope and feed their family.
What the government is preventing there will be the one to suffer it here.
The people are, however, advised to go about their daily businesses.
On our own, we mounted surveillance both day and night. I can tell you that we've got 1 or 2, 3 of those trucks. And I must also let you know that the people of Oyo State should not be perturbed for whatever reasons.
On the security of lives and property in the state.
We will not fold our arms and see them operating illegally. You will agree with me that all these Okada riders, they have unions, and we're already collaborating with the unions.
Commercial motorcyclists within the state are advised to operate within the ambit of the law in Ibadan. Grace Bamdele, NTA News.
Work has commenced on the dualization of the 110 kilometers Ilorin-Jeba-Bokani Expressway. The North Central Deputy Director of Highways, Federal Ministry of Works, Bola Aganaba, while on inspection tour of ongoing federal road projects in Kwara State, says no zone will be marginalized in road infrastructure. Damilola Balogun Elebio reports.
Infrastructure remains one key sector in ensuring that states are connected through federal roads. Inspecting the level of work done so far on the 110 Ilorin-Jeba-Bokani Expressway, the Deputy Director, North Central Highways, Federal Ministry of Works, Mr. Bola Aganaba, said the federal government was working assiduously to ensure that the level of work got to about 70% completion before the rainy season began.
The assignment is to go and ensure that works are going on, to see the progress of work on site, to know what are the challenges, and see how to ensure that things are moving well.
About 6 kilometers of asphalt binder course has been completed on this session, and about 4 kilometers plus has been completed on the wiring. So the contract, as you can see, the contractor is fully mobilized.
He also inspected Ilorin Igbeti Kishi, Ajashe Ekpo Ofa Erinle Osun State boundary, Michael Imodu Gomo Afon Road, where he expressed satisfaction with the level of work done so far.
The major challenge that we faced was the delay in the payment of compensation of structures along the right-of-way.
I commend our federal government to this project.
The Deputy Director's appeal to people where all these projects are going on is to cooperate with the contractors to ensure early completion of the roads. Damilola Balugmelebio, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. We now join Lydia in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Kemi. The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has assured members of the Presidential Support Committee, PSC, of the ministry's continuous efforts towards executing life-changing projects in the region and delivering on President Muhammadu Buhari's developmental plan. He gave the assurance while receiving a report on restructuring by an ad hoc committee set up by the PSC in Abuja. Akpabio commended the team for standing by President Muhammadu Buhari over the years and lauded the president for his unbiased decision of completing abandoned projects by past administrations and commitment to finishing new ones.
I want you to know that you are supporting a man who is not interested in a personal ego, that will go backwards to 2, 3, 4 administrations to pick on projects that were abandoned and say they must be completed for the benefit of the people. From the railway lines and all that to the road, even the Ibadan road and all that. Yesterday, Calabar Itu road where I come from was included was approved for dualization with about 50 billion voted and all that, and we didn't need to do much. So I think that he has done more infrastructure than past administration had ever done.
We therefore applaud your courage in dealing with the challenges faced by the committee. It is in this regard that I would like to reaffirm our commitment to your leadership.
Joseph Johnson reports that it is the opinion of the committee that if the report is implemented, the PSC will be well positioned to coordinate and harmonize efforts of the teaming members towards complementing the aspirations of the All Progressives Congress Party APC in future elections' successes. The Federal Ministry of Environment and her partners are back to the drawing board in doing the needful for Mr. President to assent the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA Act 2018, though pleased with the new act seeking to amend some sections to meet up contemporary challenges in oil pollution. President Buhari observed that some sections of the act undermine the powers of the Minister of Petroleum, and secondly, the imposition of 0.5% operation funds will create additional tax burden on oil firms.
Bill will facilitate improvement in safety standards by operators and also minimize oil spills and pollutants. We have to find a way of standardizing the artisanal refineries into modular refineries to save the lives of the people in the Niger Delta.
NOSDRA, I want to give the assurance that there's a very, very strong will to see that we accelerate the process of making these amendments and ensuring that this bill is passed.
NOSDRA is accorded its rightful place in the environmental regulation of the petroleum industry, as well as to ensure an acceptable, considerate, and non-compromising framework that is fair, not to just the environment, but also to the operators and the communities at large.
You're still watching Nationwide. We're now going to join Dayo in Ibadan for an update on the effect of ban on Okada in Lagos, the effect on Ibadan Metropolis. Dayo, tell us, what is the latest?
Well, it is certain that the ban on Okada operations in Lagos State will have impact on the operations of the operators in other neighboring states of the Federation, especially Ibadan, the state capital. The operators are already moving to Ibadan, the state capital, to continue their operations. And of course, the management of road transport management in Ibadan are already saying they are on top of the situation and they are making sure that the operators should work within the ambit of the extant rules and regulations in the state capital. So for now, the number of those who are already moved to Ibadan cannot be ascertained, but it is certain that the operators are in Ibadan, the state capital.
Now tell us, has the result of this ban on Okada in Lagos, has it caused any kind of hold-ups in Ibadan or traffic challenges?
For now, there's nothing like that in Ibadan, the state capital. You agree with me that Oyo State Road Management Authority are on top of the situation, and they are making sure that operators work within the ambit of the rules and regulations in the state capital. For now, nothing like increase in traffic, but the operators are definitely coming down to Ibadan to continue their operation, because you agree with me that a number of Nigerians have turned commercial motorcycles as their source of their livelihood. So they are most certainly have to go to other neighboring states to continue their operations.
Thank you so much, Dayo, for that update. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're still watching Nationwide. Let's take another break.
4,000 to 5,000 birds per day. With the closure of the border recently, we've been experiencing massive surge in demand. Our sales per day now is going to be between 15 to 20,000 birds. We needed to expand all avenues because of the multiplier effect it's creating. And the most interesting thing about this closure is that many of my farmers today are farmers we recruited recently, and they are young graduates. What the government is doing will lead us right. And I can tell you, if the government sustains this thing, sky will not even be our limit.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures. Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down. Do you have a job where you're going to? No, but someone is arranging, Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
Lassa fever occurs when a person gets bitten by a rat carrying the Lassa virus. It is also contacted through the consumption of foods that have been contaminated by either the saliva, urine, or excreta of the rats. Lassa fever is deadly, so protect yourself and loved ones from it. Keep rats away from your homes. Ensure that leftover foods are properly covered at night and heat up properly before consumption. Wash fruits properly before you eat. Maintain regular hand wash with soap and water, as well as environmental sanitation. Report all feverish conditions and bleeding from the nose or mouth to the health facility nearest to you, and don't indulge in self-medication. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA.
Thanks for staying. We now take a bit of sports. The 2020 Para Powerlifting World Cup is rounding up now at the International Conference Center, Abuja, after 4 days of competition, which has seen Nigeria para powerlifters dominate and also qualify for the Games in Tokyo, Japan in August. Let's now join Ayodeji Makinde, who is standing by live at the International Conference Center. Ayodeji, hello. Hello, Ayodeji.
How you doing, Lydia? Good to see you once again. It's been a very, very remarkable moment on the final day of the 2020 Para Powerlifting Championship, where we've seen Nigeria.
We apologize for losing that signal. We hope we can still rejoin him for an update there. But right now we're going to talk about the Torch of Unity, which has now moved to Benue State. Looks like Ayo is back.
I wouldn't say
I really don't know, but then I am just glad I am one of those going for the Paralympic game who qualified to go for the Paralympic game by September this year.
All right.
Very glad.
Okay, now tell me more about the inner strength and determination that has brought you this far.
Wow. I would say, as a disabled person, I really want to do what an able-body cannot do. And that has been my inspiration. So, I mean, I want to do something that when an able-body sees me, they'll be like, wow. And that's justice. That has been the spirit.
Congratulations once again. Your strength inspires me. Well, it's gradually rounding up here. Have the International Conference Center here in Abuja, and we're having the last two weight categories. That's in the 107 kilograms have been decided here, from where we'll have the closing ceremony. Remember, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is the grand patron of the para-power lifters, and it promises to be very interesting. Updates will be coming in subsequent bulletins, Lydia.
Thank you so much, Ayodeji, for that update. That's one strong, very physically challenged, very strong woman indeed. Thank you so much. Now, still on the touch of unity, which has now moved to Makurdi, Benue State, we now join our correspondent, Bem Hanya, via telephone. Bem Hanya, hello.
Hello, Lydia.
Yes, tell us, give us the details of what is going on concerning the touch.
The touch arrived in Makurdi this morning and was received at the food basket roundabout in the Wurukum area, and the relay was also received at Government House, Makurdi, by the Deputy Governor of Benue State, Benson Abonu, who addressed the people who brought the torch and expressed the determination of the Benue State government to develop sports and the preparations Benue State government has done to ensure that its contingent participate fully in the competition.
Okay, now Bem Hanya, tell us, how did the Benue people receive the torch? What is the ambience like?
As the torch arrived to Makurdi, you could see that the Benue people were excited. People came out of their offices and business areas to watch the relay as it moved through major streets of Makurdi, the Benue State capital. They were indeed excited to receive this kind of honor in their state.
Thank you. That was an honor indeed. Thank you, Ben, for that update on the touch in Benue. Thank you so much.
You, Lydia. Okay.
You're still watching Nationwide. Let's join Asma'u in Sokoto, who has more on Nationwide. Asma'u, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. Sokoto State Government, in collaboration with international donor agencies, has established Sexual Assault Referral Center to provide immediate and long-term remedies for survivors of gender-based violence. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the story.
The center, located at the Specialist Hospital Sokoto, is expected to commence operation in March this year with aim of providing succor to survivors. It is to be manned by specialists from the medical, psychological, law enforcement, and civil society groups, among others.
Women and the children are the most vulnerable in all matters of vices. Specifically, it's aimed at eliminating violence against women and young girls in our society. It's a global project, and in Nigeria, it's being carried out in 6 states, and Sokoto State happens to be one of the states.
High percentage of child abuse cases were associated to violation of trust, urging authorities and stakeholders to live up to the expectations on prosecuting perpetrators. Threats of survivors and loved ones, impunity, blackmail, stigmatization, and likelihood of sexually transmitted diseases and pregnancy are forms of challenges faced by survivors.
The victims need to be taken care of.
Keeping quiet for reasons whatsoever as far as violence against women and sexual assault in children is not what should be done.
It is expected that the focus will be on elimination of all forms of violence against women and girls globally through prevention, protection, and provision of essential services to victims. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
With more and more states becoming prone to the spread of Lassa fever, Sokoto State is intensifying efforts, which includes enlightenment at all levels to prevent the disease. Musa Abubakar reports from Sabaru village in Dengeshuni local government area.
Well, there has not been any case of Lassa fever recorded in Sokoto. Well, that does not mean that the authorities are relaxed. Efforts have been put in place towards preparation for any eventuality. And media campaign on enlightenment about the dangers of the disease has been intensified. Now, Usmanu Danfodio University Teaching Hospital, as well as the State Specialist Hospital, have all been designated as treatment centers if there is to be any case. Now we are in Sabaru village, a community close to Sokoto Metropolis. We're here to assess the level of awareness about the dangers of the disease and what effort they are putting in place individually and collectively to avert Lassa fever.
My name is Bello Omar Sabaru. The issue of Lassa fever is a very problematic issue because people have been observed that they are dying because of this. But to us, we see it as a challenge to each and every person in ensuring that we prevent this issue. How can we prevent it? Is to join hands together individually and in group to ensure that people have take care of their food, their family, and avoid taking in those rats that are in the house.
We'll keep you posted as development unfolds.
And that's it from here. Lydia, it's back to you. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Asmao. Now a bit of politics. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, women groups have started early preparations to mobilize and mentor younger women for active participation in politics.
Since the return to democratic system, Nigeria has been recording low participation of women both in elective and appointed positions, prompting advocacies by concerned groups. The last general elections also witnessed poor women performances, and so the voices for a reversal of the trend are getting louder.
There's a gap in mentoring, intergenerational mentoring for young women. So women want to, but they lack experience, they lack the wherewithal.
For the likes of Elizabeth Orji and other participants, is a wake-up call to step into the political shoes of their mentors. A few though are now treading the path of retirement.
All women can do politics, no matter your capacity.
Right now, I think I'm going to really be deliberate about joining a party.
Cynthia Mbamalo of the Yaga Africa is one of those campaigning for inclusion of more women.
How do we as women build solidarity and strong movement nationally driven by women and men? Because we cannot achieve women political inclusion without the support of men.
One thing is to be a mentor, another thing is to be a mentee. So if you look at the men, of course, when they are exiting the stage, they plant somebody in that place. Political sons. So we should begin to have political daughters and political mothers.
Development cannot happen without the input, the cooperation, and the complementarity of women.
They have a crop of Nigerian women who are happy that they are coming up and are willing to support them all the way to success.
There is a strong belief here that if advocacies such as these are sustained, 2023 will be the turning point for Nigerian women to take their place in politics. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Still on gender issues, as the world celebrates the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, the Nigerian government and private sector have continued to strategize for inclusion to empower women in every aspect to boost the nation's economy. To this end, a capacity building for female artisans is underway in Abuja to further promote advocacy on women inclusion. Bossede Abel reports.
It has been affirmed that when you train a woman, you build a nation. This saying is brought to bear on these 100 female artisans who are being trained for the Nigerian workforce in vocations that are male-dominated and over time are believed to be for men only. Catherine Ode is one of the beneficiaries who specializes in plumbing.
It has exposed us into the world and let the world know that something like this is happening.
I can't wait for a collar job again, any white collar job, but at least I can sit at home and still work and still empower more women too.
This capacity training of 100 participants, which will last for 40 days, is categorized into 5 classes of 20 participants each. They are plumbing, generator mechanics, refrigerator and air conditioning repairs, tiling and masonry, and plaster of Paris POP. The center has, however, trained over 240 young female artisans since its inception.
These programs are based on the recognition that women economic empowerment is the first step to freedom.
This is a specialized program which is giving the women special skills to be able to also be employers of other people and entrepreneurs on their own.
We're making a lot of effort to make sure that women are being accommodated in the entire country.
Organized by the National Center for Women Development in partnership with Skill Development for Youth Employment SKY, the program seeks to provide a steady stream of competent young female artisans for the construction industry. In Abuja, Boss Sede Able, NT News.
And that ends Nationwide on the NTA. Thank you for watching and do have a pleasant evening. I am Lydia Ojiji Ochi.
All persons arriving from